And Woody likes the crooked cock.
It's like some weird, like downstream metabolite that they basically fucked up and didn't get out of their system in time. So it's like, to me, it's always a really obvious red flag. Like, why would you be using Clomid? You know what I mean? Like, there's no performance enhancing advantage to having Clomid in your system. And the only logical conclusion as to why you would have it in your system and why all these fighters have it is you just did something and now you're trying to recover.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, but I would like you to look at some of these ladies' bodies.
The Chinese champion comes to mind.
Wei Li, yeah. I don't trust people from that part of the world very much anyway with their bodies. I feel like the Chinese and the Russians in particular have gotten caught cheating in one way or another so many times in international competition.
They certainly cheat in video games.
They cheat in video games. All right. I'm just saying it's factual. And I know Woody he looks at Holly Holm's bikini line and he thinks maybe there's a little bit too much going on down there.
That woman has an enlarged labia clitoris thing cooking. It is. She's a 1 percentile in that regard.
It doesn't look that big to me. Her fighter name is the Preacher's Daughter. I won't have you sully her good name.
I'm going to look up the Preacher's Daughter clit, and I'll give you my. I'm going to give you my undivided.
You're going to find a completely different series, and just ignore all the postings that I made there. No, but and then Chris Cyborg in particular.
Oh, this is not a helpful search at all.
Chris Cyborg has. It looks like she's had like cranial development. Like
look it up here.
Yeah, like Chris Cyborg in particular. What does she squat for reps? Woody, is it 300 or 400?
Oh, I don't know that. I don't know.
It's something absurd. Yeah,
that's insane.
For reps.
Wow.
For reps. She's and it's not one of those where you see like a girl maxing out on Reddit and you're like, oh my god, that was incredible, and it's clear that she just like blew her load lifting this.
What's up, everybody?
She's pumping 300 or 400.
The thing I would look to that I typically like, if you were looking at a girl specifically to see if they've used anything, I would look to their younger pictures and see if they looked way more feminine. Like, I'm trying to find younger pictures of her to see if she ever looked like normal.
Yeah. I've never seen her look normal. Chris Cyborg in particular.
She's been ugly since the beginning.
But like objectively less so relative to current is what I'm trying to find.
That woman is a mother.
Young Chris Cyborg.
Here. This is timestamped at 3:44.
Oh, her head's definitely gotten bigger, Chris Cyborg. Yeah.
I love that
thumbnail. Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Holly Holm, is she natural? Look at her clit and decide for yourself.
Welcome to the show.
I'm just saying, looking at that myself, I don't see anything that's out of like, that doesn't look unnatural to me, what she's got going on down there.
I've seen her zoomed in plenty of times.
But
she's a good Christian gal,
This isn't like a doctored photo. Like, how do we know that for sure? Have you seen the live weigh-in? Like,
yeah, I that's the kind of thing I watch. I hardly miss a weigh-in. I'm really into the UFC, and that's just a defining attribute of her.
Right. Yes. That one, just based on like, typically I would look at facial features before I'd look at just like a fucking camel toe, to be honest.
Okay.
So it's kind of
well, you do you. I look where I look, and I'm not changing.
It draws the eye.
It does. It draws the eye. See a big meaty clam, you notice.
Her body fat is so low. She's so strong. She has a body a lot of guys would trade for. And that's just, I don't know. She's buff, but yeah,
I think I'm just looking at some recent pictures of her now. We're talking about Holly Holm now, right?
Yeah, I think it's Holmes. ES.
It's not.
It's not.
No, you've been pronouncing it that way for years. I just let it go.
That's true.
Fact check. True. That's funny.
Okay, so like here, I would look at something like this, and then I would cross-reference what year that was. But there, it's like notably more feminine, I would say, or just younger looking. But I would basically just look at a timeline of that. But nowadays, I wouldn't doubt she's on something now.
Yeah, and she's probably not cutting as much weight, to be fair, in this photo, because this is when she was doing pro boxing. And the weight classes are a little different. They can be up and down.
She looks more muscular now for sure, and drier, and obviously she has to cut down for weight classes. But I mean, I wouldn't put it honestly, like the testing in the UFC, it's like on the surface, I think it's very, you know, like, oh, we show up at your door randomly and we test you and it's super intense. But it's like in reality, it seems like to actually get to the point of we're going to use like a carbon isotope ratio or whatever the most elaborate precise measurement is on you to see what exactly did you take. They have to basically fail a ratio of like testosterone to epitestosterone test first. And that ratio I've seen in studies myself, you can use upwards of like 300 milligrams a week and still not tip that ratio.
Jesus.
Yeah. So like
sounds like on
this, yeah, that's like you would probably make like naturally 6 to 7 milligrams a day. So like per week, that's like, you know, around
normal.
You know, you could be having like 4 times the average natural production just from that.
Yeah, so 7 a day is 49 a week, right? And you can could add 300 to that. I guess you'd probably shut down, so you'd have 300.
Yeah, that's like a good average TRT fucking dose. 300 a week.
That would be like cycle territory.
Really?
What would a TRT dose be?
Is like, so basically if you produce like, it's actually the range of 3 to 10 milligrams a day is like the full range for the shittiest of guy to like the top echelon of genetic elite for natural production. So at the best you could produce like 70 a week. And then if you were taking, let's just say even 200 milligrams, like they've shown in the studies that 125 a week is kind of where you start to get into supraphysiological range. You know what I mean? So like above and beyond what you would naturally do, even if you were like the pinnacle of fucking natural production, which realistically, how many are? Like
very
the likelihood
is the pinnacle.
Yeah, the likelihood is low. So anyways, 125 is like where things start to really get unfair advantage territory. And then anything above and beyond that, 300 is like you could sit at home and gain more muscle than a guy like going to the gym with like natural production almost.
Really?
Woody, that place I linked you a while back, that TRT place, that's what they'll start you out at.
At what?
300.
Really?
But like that is, in my opinion,
yeah,
it's like while that sounds good objectively, it's like if you're gonna do like optimization, you want to try and start at where you're at that high normal level and then see how your body responds before you push it into that. Okay, now you're doing bodybuilder type shit. Because it's not like it's, you know, side effect free or anything. You know what I mean?
Let's talk about side effects. So I think